Table manners for you. How can you keep your doodle still on the table without using any kind of restraints? Human table manners for grooming. Now, as we were talking about doodle table manners, let's talk about what we can do to keep them still. And what does it mean when we do this and we show that kind of body language? Whether will they stay there or move with us? One hand on the doodle at all times when doodle or care provider is our beginners. So let's say you just got a doggy and they need a little bit more time to adjust, and you are a beginner as well, so you also need a little bit more time to adjust. Then I would absolutely keep one hand on the doodle. In case you are getting more comfortable and you practice without grooming before and you feel the confidence, the energy that, okay, he's gonna stay there for me. He's gonna or she's gonna sit there and she's gonna wait for my requests. I don't really like the word command, so I'm gonna use the word request. And whenever you are getting more comfortable, then you can remove that hand. But especially when you are just keeping the doggy there and you're not moving, and you can give it a go and give it a try. But for the time being, when you are getting used to each other, you definitely want to keep one hand on the doggy. And until you get the confidence and all the knowledge that you're just going to take a look at the doggy and you will tell whether today he's going to stay there for you or not. And also it can vary by day. Like, for example, one day they cooperate like awesome and the other day they are not. Oftentimes when I think about my day, how I was feeling, I noticed that I was either in a state of mind when I was worried about something, and or I got bad labs from my doctor, and I was like really angry at myself because I cheated with my diet, for example, and it shows on the labs and in my health. So things can happen. Strategies can happen. So keep in mind your doggy will read you much better than you probably can read yourself. So listen to them, and in case they are acting up in a way that you don't feel comfortable with them being on the table, either move down or skip the grooming altogether, really. Facing the table means stay there for the doodle. So whenever your body is facing to the table, that means the doggy will stay there. That's kind of like blocking the way. You know the feeling when you're walking in a narrow pathway, like a bridge, and then someone is walking towards you, and they are using their the whole space, and there's only space enough for one person. You can tell by the body language who is gonna be the one who's gonna give you space, or whether you's gonna be the one who's gonna give the other one space. Now, with humans, being polite and unwritten rules come in the picture as well, but with doggies, the more dominant one will go without moving out of the way, and the other one, the more submissive one, will go and get out of the way and give space for the more dominant one. So based on this one, you're gonna be able to keep your doggy still there. And it's nothing crazy. You're not bending over on the doggy, or you are not holding the doggy. It's just your body language, kind of like with the policeman, whenever they are directing traffic. Like whenever they are facing towards you like that, there is no way you can go. Whenever they are showing their side and they are signing with their hands that you can go, then you can go. It's the same thing with doggies. So I just wanted to give you an idea like how it's based in Mother Nature and what we can do with our doodles about this. So again, even if you turn a little bit to reach for a tool or to scratch your leg or anything, you need to keep that in mind that you are moving, and that's going to be a trigger for your doggy. So give them request, or tell them a request like, hey, stay there, and you scratch your leg, and then or grab the brush or comb and then go back to where you were, and they're gonna stay there. Turning even only your head away means come move with me for the doodle. Just exactly the same like with the turning your body, your full body and chest. It's the same thing for really, really high energy level doggies. Even turning your head or looking away will be a signal like, oh, we are going for an adventure. Let's do this. So you need to keep that in mind, that even the tiniest movements will signal the doggy to go. And here again, here comes the solution that you really need to exercise the doggy. So the more tired the doggy is, the less they want to go on another adventure with you. So you see why it's super, super important to keep the doggy comfortable and still for the grooming, and get a good exercise before the grooming session, because otherwise they want to go to adventures, and whenever you turn or move or slightly take a look at the other end of the table, they will be like, okay, let's go. And it's gonna drive you both nuts. So exercise before the grooming. Let it be a teeny tiny brush or a full bath and everything. Give requests, sit, stay, then move slowly. Super, super important. Oftentimes we are in kind of a rush and we move, give the request, and move faster, even fast. So again, the order is give request, then move, and slowly. Super, super important. And that's going to be the workflow for this specific step to keep your doggy still. And wait for it. Wait for eye contact, give the request, and then move after you saw it on your doodle that, okay, roger that. And then they understand what's going on and they got it. So in case your dog is not looking at you, for example, and you give the request and move, then that's not going to be the workflow you are looking for, because your doggy was not focused at you, and then you gave the request, the doggy was still not focused at you, and then you were expecting the doggy to provide you the requested sit or stay. They're not going to do it. You need the connection, and that's why I'm all about building connection and focus between you two and between the doodle and groomer, because once you have that connection and you remove the distractions from the environment, you're going to be able to work with the doodle and give requests, and you don't need any kind of grooming loops and stuff, because they will be tuned into you. There is nothing else to see, to look, to sniff. They're going to be more than willing to work with you, and they're going to perform amazing, because high energy level ones, and that's why I'm really into doodles, because high energy level doggies work so amazingly. They are incredibly fast. We just need to keep up with them. And it's a real joy to work on the doodle, because they will just perform amazingly. They are working dogs in a super fluffy coat and like a evening dress or something. They are gorgeous, they are smart, and it's just a real pleasure to work with them, really, in case you know how to deal with them. It's just like my husband always say, if you're dating with a rock star, you better be prepared for the rock star lifestyle. And it's exactly the same with doodles. You better be prepared for the lifestyle and be able to deal with whatever comes, because there will be stuff happening around them. Position the table in a way that at least the longer side in front of you is facing a wall, so your doodle won't jump off away from you where you can't intervene. Super, super important. My table is located right in front of a window. So whenever I'm grooming, doggies can take a peek outside, and they actually enjoy the blow drying part and taking a look at outside. And usually they are sitting or standing, and they are watching either my kitty cats or the squirrels I have back in there. It's super important. Safety is incredibly important for both of you, because a bad experience can be a huge impact on both of you. So the thing is, put your table or location your table in a way that the longer edge will be facing towards a wall, like close to the wall, so your doggy won't be able to jump off. That's another reason why I don't really like factory groomers, because they put their table out like islands, and all around there's space, and doggies can just jump off. And that's one reason among the many that they use grooming loops on the doodles, on any other doggies, because doggies can jump off, and you can absolutely work around this just by putting the table against a wall. And then you just need to monitor 3 edges. One long one where you're standing, so that's very easy. And the 2 sides, which is not really a tricky situation. If you want, you can even put something on the sides, and then that's going to cover the 2 sides as well. And your doggy won't be interested in jumping off. But again, in case you train your doodle to be okay on the table and you get the exercise, they're not going to be interested in going anywhere in case the environment is prepared as well and there are no crazy distractions around. So we can work around that energy level again. Establish clarity for you and your doodle about the edges of the table and figure out how far you want your doodle to go to stay safe. It's a very important part for humans and also for doggies, but we were talking about that part already, that for me, 4 inches, about 4 inches from the edge is my safe zone. That will give me enough time to react in case they move further. And whenever they move within that 4 inches on either side of the table, then I'm stopping whatever I'm doing and I'm asking the doodle to go back a little because I want that safety buffer for me. In case your doodle is standing on the edge of the table and they lose balance or they slip with one foot, they're gonna 100% sure fall off and you're not gonna have enough time to react. So having that 4-inch or whatever you prefer safety buffer on the edges will be huge to keep your doodle comfortable and safe. And yourself safe, because whenever I see, and also that's a trigger for me, whenever I see doggies standing there, that's a trigger for me, like, hey, safety, you need to get that doggy back in there in the middle of the table. And that's also give us a practice like, okay, we reconnect and I want to ask you to move back in the middle of the table. And then they do. So that's one, and actually not one, but many ways that I'm capable of working on doodles off leash on the table the safe way, and so can you.